Hello, my beautiful souls. This is the Messy Human Tarot, and this will be a very short episode. I have to wake up my baby in about 10 minutes, so it can't be more than that, honestly. Yeah, check the disclaimer before you continue on, please. Do your due diligence. But yeah, I'm Ruby, by the way, and we're gonna talk about something kind of hard to talk about. Sometimes this channel is all about beautiful positivity. And I say it in that way because I understand we want to feel good. We want to we all of us deserve and should experience individuals and experiences that are enjoyable. With that said, though, it's so important for us to be accountable for ourselves and be accountable for our self-reflection process. Our lives cannot improve without this process. And I do not say this lightly. I've had a couple experiences where I've struggled in my own life, but also too in being the observer, working with other people, seeing how other people struggle with accountability and the self-reflection process, or the lack of awareness that they're doing something harmful to other people. I do not think people purposefully go out to hurt people. I do think, though, ignorance is not necessarily always a good excuse. Again, I do not say this lightly, because even when I do not like what someone does, it does not mean I lack compassion for them. You can have compassion for someone and not like what they do, or nor want to be around certain individuals, or have to communicate to them that is deeply uncomfortable for them. And so I'm kind of carefully approaching this conversation, because I recently had a situation where I myself realized that sometimes when people are talking about other people, I think they're talking about me. And this lack of insight has caused unnecessary conflicts. And so I had this weird aha moment, because there was an important meeting that I had to attend, and I thought to myself, they're not talking about me. I had this weird moment going like, why do I always think that they're talking about me? That's weird. My partner has said that multiple times to me, and he's like, when I say things and I'm talking about things that I do, I'm not saying that you do those things. Because I always think tells me that, like, oh, you're doing this, you're a bad person, right? Says I grew up where I got in trouble a lot. Yeah, I grew up that way. But my past is not in the present moment, and yet I'm acting like it is. And this is certainly highly problematic. And the reason it's problematic when we lack insight is because it can cause unnecessary like I said, unnecessary conflict before, both internal and external. If you think, like, I'll give you an example. If you end up thinking everything like people are talking about is about you, you're going to run around really angry and defensive and hurt and frustrated. But if we hear people for what they're actually saying, and we take things non-personally, we can actually listen, empathize, be curious, and maybe minimize our conflicts in our own lives. Now, in terms of watching other people run around lacking self-reflection, it's caused a lot of difficulties in my own life, and there's nothing I can do about that. The only thing I can do is maybe advocate for myself sometimes in a way that's appropriate or possible, because sometimes you can't directly engage with those people. You can't say, well, you're doing this. One, it's not always my place, too, to tell them things, because it's kind of weird when you sometimes you do have to direct people. You have to talk to them. You actually have to have conversations with them and say, like, there's a good reason why I'm kind of carefully. As Ruby, I still have to be careful because I have a real world name, a real world job out there, and I have to protect confidentiality. I often have to pause a lot. But there's a lot of things I can't say or fully explain. But what I can say is that your actions do have consequences. And when you walk around in your life acting as if that, your emotional impulsivity is not going to get you in trouble, your defensiveness isn't going to get you in trouble, your lack of curiosity isn't going to get you in trouble, if you're not listening to people, ignoring feedback isn't going to get, it's not like it's going to get you in trouble per se, but it has implications in your life, whether they're small and big. I'll give you an example. There was a research article years ago I read about how sometimes children lose out on opportunities if they have been neglected, abused, or experienced trauma. And, and I think that happens too with kids who are on the spectrum or who have ADHD or have any learning difficulties, because sometimes they are a little behind emotionally or in terms of social skills. And we as adults can lose opportunities for ourselves and for our children. And it's so extremely important as a mother for myself to do this self-reflection process, because dang, wouldn't that suck if my kid lost a learning opportunity to grow and expand, to get resources, to get incredible role models, because my defensiveness, my inability to listen, to be curious, to treat people with respect, all those kind of things, right? There's so many different things that we could give out as examples, as in terms of a theme, right? But my thinking that everything's about me, right? That even can lose my kid a learning opportunity. If I think like everything's about me, then if a parent's talking about their like them doing something, like how they're really struggling with something in terms of a parenting thing, and I take that like, oh, they're doing that to me, go, and I have a conflict with that parent because like I took something personally, that they're like, no, that was about me talking you about me stuff. And guess what? That kiddo loses an opportunity with that kid's parents being role models, or that kid being a peer and them having a positive impact later on in their life that could really serve them and make them president or something. I don't know. But do you see my where I'm going with this? Is when you become a parent, you lose the privilege of having your ego run the show. You lose the privilege of so many different things and even opportunities to be yourself. And it sucks. It really does. We have less wiggle room. And in some ways this is a good thing, because it is a learning opportunity for us parents to think about other people and their perspective and have empathy for other people. And sometimes we rise above it and sometimes we don't. And sometimes also too, we deserve compassion too, just like everyone else. And most of us do deserve compassion. Most do deserve services and learning opportunities. But when you shut the door and you're not even aware that you're shutting a door, that is a problem. That is a very, very big problem. And that's why we need accountability. That's why we need self-reflection. We need to be aware when we are shutting doors, because you want that door open. All right, you guys have all been beautiful. I have to go wake up my baby. But Mary Meet, blessed be, amen to good health, and toodaloo.